his people. I know he's like, and I think he's smiling. Okay, now they're getting serious. Now I can pour out because they're getting hungry. They're getting serious. That's it. And to love one another. Exactly. You guys are with me today. We're with each other. Jesus, thank you. Gee, right, boy. Sidestep. Yeah, he sidestep. That's why. That's why. Exactly, Chris. Exactly. Praise the Lord. Oh, I'm getting fired up. I'm getting fired up. Boy, it's taking me longer to wake up this morning, and for some reason, but I am starting to wake up. Hello there, Lions Roar for Jesus 62. Halfway there, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. All right, Chris. Mike is, I'm going expecting. That's it. That's what she was saying, Miranda was saying. We need to have faith with expectation and partner our faith with God. We know it's all by the grace of God, but what she gave the example of the wedding at Canaan, and there was an expectation, and Jesus said, "Well, my time hasn't come. It's not my time." But Mary didn't. She didn't. Her faith. She just kind of ignored what he said and said, "Whatever he tells you to do, do it." And he says, "All right, go fill the water pot." See, he couldn't resist his mother's faith. He could not resist his mother's faith. He cannot resist our faith with expectation. That's all he's waiting for. Glory to God. Thank you, Jesus.
So, Rivers, I think it's down to the love factor. And me, I spoke to Apples about this. I give everyone sort of like love, but I'm very careful of passing my heart on to someone else because my mind's a bit broken. Um, because my mind's a bit broken, I feel like I travel with my heart and I go through life with my heart. So, you know, it's more that I've got to protect that. Otherwise, I'm ruined, you know. I should be praying. So, you know what I was going to say actually? It's good to be thankful towards the Creator and even for the little things, you know. Like, I'm really happy that Apples has like a bird who comes and sees it every morning. You know, it's little things like this which change our outlook on life. And I used to have a bird, actually, a pigeon that nested on my aerial, and I actually took photographs of it and showed my mum, and it used to come back every however long it was and build another nest, and the nest went really big and it fell off eventually. Hopefully the chicks inside or the young birds were okay. But right there would show its little belly to me, and it was green, and it just reminded me of the green bird of paradise. And I thought it liked me. I thought the bird liked me, and it's possible to have a friendship with an animal like that. So it's nice that Apples has like a little bird that comes and sees it for food. If I could give this bird food, I would have. Yeah, it's like, it's uncommon, but it's beautiful, you know. And yeah, I'm just really happy for you. And that's great. That's made my day. Because I know this other bird the pigeon that nested on my aerial, loves me. And it got familiar with me as well. You know that you're going to go out there with food, or you're going to just watch it, and it watches you back. The great animals, lovely animals. Mike free.
I find especially with her, Chris, because, oh, bless her, one side of her feathers, she reminds me slightly of me. She's all ruffled and thrown together, and her little feathers on one side, they don't quite fit, and I don't know what happened to her. I really don't. I go, oh, you poor little thing, but you're still beautiful. And the other birds try to bully her. I think that's what makes it, morning, beloved, I think that's what makes it so special, because the others, you know, I go to the others, go away, leave her alone. She's come to me for dinner. You can't beat her up. She looks like she's been beaten up. But the other thing, very quickly, Rivers, you reminded me of something. Remember, I said go expecting, because you were talking about going to church and things like that. I remember when I was single, I didn't date because, I had one friend I dated. I think we dated for 2 weeks. It was a disaster, absolute, utter disaster. It was good. It was, because I never had before. I didn't plan to marry. I didn't see the need to date. Why waste somebody's time? I had good friends. But on my day off, I used to go and sit by the sea. That's looking at your cam. I enjoy that. I used to go sit by the sea on a rock and have a good chat with God, because I like talking to God. Some people might not believe that, but I do. But I would be on the train going out to where I was going to meet, and I would be talking to God on the train. I'd say, I'm expecting you to be there when I get there. I'm on my way. And I would just sit and we would have a great chat. And but you had that expectation in you that you were going to meet with God for an hour or two or whatever length it took. And I'd write, and I used to read the Psalms then, Chris. I had the Psalms, I liked them. But again, yeah, you expected to meet with them and you expected to have a good conversation, and not expected as in, I'm expecting you to do this, but just you were expecting to have a nice time. So that word will stay with me, I think, for the day. And I used to have a lovely time. And you know, I never told anyone about there ever. But when my husband proposed to me, he took me to the exact little rock that I used to sit on. It was down by the harbour, Chris, and there was all these rocks out onto the harbour. And I used to slowly go down onto the rock, and I would sit down. Yeah, and that was when he said, Rivers, first he's told me that God told him that I was to marry him, and I was like, right, this is not the lifestyle I planned, but anyway. But I thought, I'm going to need a sign for me, I don't know. And when he did that, I knew, well, I don't understand this, it makes no sense, but this is to be. Because that's where I used to meet with God and have chats. So it's interesting how a circle can go around. But when I would be going out to that place, I would expect, I'm going to have a nice time, we're going to have a chat, I'm going to come away with a perspective on something, or nothing. Company, just having sat for company in someone's presence that you enjoy. So I really do hope that when you go to church today, that you do all have a wonderful time, and that people come away feeling that they have met with someone very special that they love. Mike free.
Yeah, of course, they're so amazing and precious. I can't even. Man, that is so sweet. That is so. This is the essence of having a relationship with God. This childlike faith that says, I'm just going to come. I want to meet with you. I want to talk to you. I'm expecting you to be there when I get there. I do too. I expect his angels go ahead before me. He sends his angels, and I believe that they go ahead of me. And it's like they roll out the red carpet, and then I'm just like on this path and this grace and this peace. I tell you what, it's so refreshing to hear you speak of it in such a, without the theological terminology, the simplicity of a little girl having faith and just talking to her father. And then when you mentioned that very place where you used to sit and look at the sea, and I'm so glad that you enjoyed the picture of the ocean from my webcam, because that's why I put it up there. I want people to enjoy the view with me. So you're enjoying the view with me. Now I'm enjoying the view with you as you share these things, and I'm seeing this in my mind right now. This place where you spoke to God in expectation is the very place where your husband took you. Now he didn't know he didn't know, right? He just took you there. So this was God confirming this is where you met with him. God doesn't forget. And so he led your husband, who God sent to you to be your husband, to the very place where you met with God, and there he proposed to you. That is the most amazing. You could write books. I think you should write books about some of these experiences, because it's really so, I guess, non-religious. We think of, like I'm going to the meeting later. Yeah, well, I'm meeting with him right now. I'm meeting with him right now. He's speaking to me right now about the simplicity of being like a little child. And Jesus said the same thing, unless you become like a little child, you can't enter the kingdom. That's a childlike thing, to have that kind of faith and expectation. So we can't see God, but we see him at work. And then he gives us these little things to show us. Little things to show us. See? The very spot where you spoke to me is the spot where your fiance at the time took you to propose to you, to marry you, and make you his wife. And I just find that profound and so powerful. Right, boy? Right, boy? Of course it is. So thank you for that, Apples. That is so, man, I see now I'm getting so fed this morning. I'm getting so fed and so filled. And even these little stories about the birds and the, meeting the little creek. Yeah, remember St. Francis? You ever heard of St. Francis of Assisi? Well, he loved the creation, the creatures, and they show pictures of him with all these animals around him because he loved these creatures. I'm sure they felt it. I had a friend, he was down at the beach one day, Socrates, and these dolphins came right up to him. Usually we see the dolphins, they're a little further out. They swim up and down the coast. They're beautiful. But when he was down there, they swam right up to him, and I was like, what the heck is going on here? And when he came back, I said, what were you saying? Because he talks. A guy almost talks nonstop. And I said, what were you saying to them? And he goes, and he's Greek, so he speaks broken English. He goes, I tell them Jesus loved them. I tell them Jesus loved them. And they come right up to him. And when he says it, he knows that Jesus does love them. He believes it. And they felt it. Those dolphins are very sensitive. And they were drawn to the love of God expressed through this man, which I find that quite profound. But it shouldn't be. I mean, it really shouldn't be. But to me, it's like, in this day and age, it's like, but so this profoundness of having a childlike faith with expectation. This is the key. When you're expecting, I think it's like a magnet. I think our childlike expectation is like a magnet that God cannot resist. He can't resist that magnet of a childlike faith and expectation. You see it in the life of Jesus when people came to him with that faith and expectation. He was like so happy. I haven't seen such great faith in all of Israel. Go. And they got exactly what they had asked for. It's amazing. Come on back up, Chris. Mike is free.
I'll come back up. I've had a real nice time hanging out with you and Apples. We've got Sister Beloved and Sister Honeybee, two fabulous folks.